channel. So in this review, I have the SH Figuarts Pan from Dragon Ball GT. This is Pan and Gill, another premium Bandai exclusive figure. This figure was sold for $60. So we'll see if this figure is going to be worth it. For the box art on the front, we have Pan and Gill, which is a little robot. We have some poses on the side, and then in the back shows the whole gang from Dragon Ball GT. So the Dragon Ball GT collection is finally coming together, but we'll see if this figure is worth it to add to your collection. With this purchase, you're going to get the Pan figure. You have the robot she comes with, which is Gill. 4 different pairs of hands, some crossed arms here, her backpack, some swappable hair, 4 faces for Pan, and 1 extra face for Goku. Looking at the figure up close, Pan comes with her orange bandana with the bangs coming down from that. This looks like a soft rubber plastic. It is. They have some good details in the face to capture her kid-like look. The shirt is red with no shading, with a yellow collar and then yellow on the cuffs. Her gloves are blue with painted in fingers. She has a blue belt and a little chain here hanging off of her belt. She has little pockets on the back of her pants. The pants are off-white with no shading that I can see so far. And her shoes are blue and gray. And then the socks are like a bluish purple. So this Pan figure comes complete with 4 different pairs of hands. When you get her out of the box, she's going to have her fists on. And these look really good. These are what the little pegs look like in the inside for her little hands here. So we'll swap these out for the partially open palm hands next. So these partially open palm hands look really good also. Next we have some more fully open hands. And these look good. Everything looks good, Next we have the Energy Blast effect hands. And this Energy Blast orb is like a clear yellow with airbrush white paint on the tip. You're also able to detach this ball off of her hand, and then it just exposes the peg with some more shading inside of the energy orb. And those look really nice. I'm sure we could get a lot of really good poses out of this Energy Blast effect also. Next we have her crossed arms here. These crossed arms feel like just like a harder rubber plastic. They do not show her fingertips. And then it has a little ball peg sticking out. So we'll see how these work on this small figure. So you want to pull from the elbow to make sure you don't break anything. This is what the peg and the peg hole looks like in the inside. Her sleeves are like a harder rubber plastic also. So I think that'll be good to prevent any breaking and things like that. The left side on mine is a little bit tighter, at least for my copy. Maybe yours will be different. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing in reverse here. So go ahead and pop this in. This is a harder rubber plastic against harder rubber plastic. So I don't think this will be in any danger of breaking. So here is what she looks like with the crossed arms on. And I think that looks pretty dope, honestly. Gives her some little attitude and just gives her a different look. And I think that looks good. Next, we have the 4 different faceplates that she comes with. And again, pulling her out of the box, she already has her straight looking forward face. And it captured her likeness very well. And to switch out the faceplates here, you just pull the head down out of the bandana. It's going to expose the peg hole. These bangs are just sitting right on top of the faceplate. So it's also like a harder rubber plastic. And we will start off with her happy face here. So sit that right on top of the face. It just kind of sits right on top, just like that. And then go ahead and plug it back in, making sure that the bangs stay on there. Just like that. So this is what the happy face looks like. Really good line work and detail. Good detail in the mouth. Really captures a kid smiling. Next we have her yelling face. Looking good. And last but not least, we have her teeth gritting face. Again, really good detail and line work. They did a good job with this figure. All the GT figures look really, really good, to be honest. I like them. It might be my own personal opinion, but I think they look good. The last faceplate that this figure comes with is a faceplate for Goku. And this is to capture a happy looking face, kind of to match the Pan's smiling face. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Trunks came with a smiling face also, but this face looks really good on Goku. And next we have her bangs. So these are to capture like a windswept or wind blowing look. And the way these work is you could pull this whole bandana off here, and there's 2 pegs in the inside. And then again, this kind of just like sits on top. So replace those bangs with the windswept head. And then for this here is the peg hole. Her head sculpt is like a harder rubber plastic. And then just do the same thing in reverse here. So pop this peg in. Sits in there just like that. You get the bandana on first, probably make it easier that way. And reinsert the faceplate with the bangs sitting on the face. And this is what the windswept hair looks like with the bandana on. And that looks really, really good also. And the differences between the two is one is just kind of like sitting down, obviously with no wind blowing, and the other one just captures a wind blowing effect. So another really good accessory to have. If you wanted to, you can also put the windswept bangs with the back of the hair laying flat, and then vice versa with the bangs laying flat and then the wind blowing the back of her hairs. So next we have the backpack that she comes with. And this backpack is just a solid blue with the belt buckle being chrome. And then the strap buckles are also chrome. It does have a little bit of articulation in it. You can pull these straps out to expose the peg hole, make it easier to put it on her. So this is what she'd look like with the backpack on here. Look at the straps over her shoulders, and then you plug them in the back. Simple plug and play. These are smaller pegs, but this backpack is like a softer rubber plastic. So again, I don't think that these will break unless you're just being like too rough with them and pulling on them and things like that. So this is what she looks like with her backpack on. And I think that looks really, really good. I think everything looks really good when it comes to Dragon Ball Z figures. But again, Pan did have a backpack in Dragon Ball GT. And this definitely captures the likeness of that very well. Before we get into some articulation for this figure, we have her robot companion Gill. And looking at this guy up close, he's just all white. These little arms are articulated, which is pretty cool. They just go on a 360 rotation. He has this little bump on his back. The legs are not articulated. And then this is like a clear plastic that just shows his red eye in the middle. So this is pretty dope. She was definitely with Gill in Dragon Ball GT. So for them to add in this accessory is just really good to complete the look of your figure. So we'll see how the articulation is for this figure, starting off with her head. She looks down about that far. It's not bad. Looking up, not so much because her hair is already touching her shoulders. Side to side tilt action. Feels like you can't get it to move, but it is on a single jointed peg. So if you shimmy it to get the peg to face to her right or to her left, you'll get some really good side to side tilt action there. Her arms can reach up very far. And the butterfly joints, let's see how far they allow her to reach in. So she is able to kind of reach her arms across her chest, almost. Pulling them to the back. Same thing there, not bad. And her shoulders. Well, first the butterfly joints. This is how they work. and there's not much gap there, which is a good thing. It just exposes the rest of her red shirt. But her shoulders attaching into her arms here is on a single peg again, so you're able to actually get a full 360 on her shoulders there. So that's different. She does have a really good bicep swivel, and this is also on a single jointed peg, so again, you can actually get her forearm to go in a full 360 also. So it's hard to tell when you have her arm straight, like which way is the right way, but I'll face the peg towards the inside, and then the longer half of the elbow, I guess, can be the back part of the forearm. And then we have the wrist pegs here. They work pretty standard. They feel pretty solid for it to be such a small figure. Her side-to-side tilt on her waist works pretty good. It seems like there's a ball peg in her upper chest and in her waist here. Her ab crunch to the front. She doesn't really crunch too far forward, but she can crunch far backwards, so I guess that's a good thing. Good and bad, depending. With the first peg on her upper chest, you're able to get a full 360 out of that. And then the peg that's connected to her waist, you're also able to get a full 360 out of that. So for her legs, the split action, her torso is actually like a softer rubber plastic. So you could kind of get these to fold in. And I did fold them in, but even with that, this is pretty much as far as it's going with the split. So she is on a 1.0 style double ball peg, like a T-piece, I guess you can say. But this is as far as it's going to go before I'm stressing out that peg. The 1.0s were usually able to like pull it down so you could slot it down and get more splits to the side, but this figure is unable to do that. I suppose I can try harder, but I don't want to break the peg, so splits forward and backwards work good. Her thigh swivel, you can get a full 360 out of that. Her knees are on a single peg again, and that's as far as they're bending backwards. That does look really good though. It just looks like seamless pants, I guess you can say. This chain that's connected to her is not articulated, but it is a harder rubber plastic, kind of just sits in place. Probably be careful with that, not to snap it off. The area where her socks are does not move. And then her ankles have the standard ball peg down here. You can get some up and down, and it does have a little bit of ankle rocker there. And then the toe hinge works pretty well. So the articulation for this smaller figure is okay, I guess. But nonetheless, I'm sure that we can definitely get her into some good poses on our shelf. We'll get some height comparisons here before I close out. And I know that this Trunks here got a lot of bashing from fellow collectors, and he is a smaller figure, but when you put him next to Pan, he actually fits in scale. And obviously you have Goku. And with these three figures here, now that you add in Pan, the scale definitely looks good, even though Goku has like a really big head, but I think they definitely were this height on Dragon Ball GT. And then when you add in Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, or you can put Super Saiyan 4 Goku next to Pan, I think the scale works out well. Really good scale. If you're going to have them exclusively like in a GT section, I think they look really good together. So my overall thoughts for this Pan figure, a lot of pros and cons here. So I would say that the pros are, we haven't got a SH Figuarts Pan Dragon Ball GT yet, so this is definitely a first version of that. For it to be a premium Bandai exclusive for $60, I mean, we do get a lot of accessories, but is it enough to make it a $60 price point? I feel like the price is not too bad for what you get, and for it to be another exclusive figure to add to the shelf, but you guys could be the judge of that. I do feel like they could have made the parts maybe a little bit better. All the single jointed ball pegs and then the 1.0 peg on her legs kind of take away from some of the articulation. But as far as me feeling whether or not you should get this figure, I say do so. Again, it is an exclusive figure to add to the shelf, and it definitely starts to complete your Dragon Ball GT section if you guys have started collecting the Dragon Ball GT figure line. So if you guys feel like this video was helpful, you can go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to keep an eye out for my next videos to come, go ahead and subscribe. Until then, thank you for watching.